Hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup. I'm going to put my table in front of me because why not, it allows me to lean on something. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Jordan Henderson and an update on that deal. We're also going to lean in towards Levi Colwill and Caicedo talks. I don't like it either. I love it if it's true, but I don't like the places where it's coming from for me to believe there's any concrete interest. But to give you an update on the Henderson thing, a little bit worrying for those who want him to go and for those who want him to stay. This actually could be considered quite encouraging news. So the thing that came out is, of course, personal terms, not an issue. The only issue is paying Henderson a transfer fee. Now, the reason being is because El Ettifaqi, which is the team that's in for Jordan Henderson, the team that Steven Gerrard manages, there's 4 clubs in Saudi which is basically funded by the royal family there, the royal family being the owners of Newcastle, and that's Al Ittihad, Al Nassr, I believe, Al Hilal, and then I think there's another team, but El Ettifaqi don't fall into one of those teams. What this means is that they don't have excessive funds, and 10 million, which is what's being asked for, according to Fabrizio Romano and the club. That's apparently too much for the footy club. So 700k a week, it's 350k a week, by the way. That's the apparent definitive price tag that's being set for his weekly wage. But in terms of the actual price tag for the transfer, it's looking like it's going to be out of their reach. So, and Liverpool are still yet to receive a proposal. Also on the Fabinho thing, we're still yet to receive a proposal. So, a midfield rebuild, which is what I want, and I understand if you want different, everyone has different opinions and everyone sees the path a little bit differently, but for me, I think you're guaranteeing to either stay in the same place or only improve ever so much if you keep Henderson and Fabinho, whereas if you sell them, you're forced to buy new players, and although yes, you could stay in the same place, maybe get slightly worse, you don't know. So what that also leaves an opportunity for is to get better. And if you go out and get Lavia and Manu Kone, who we've been linked with in recent times, then maybe that could be something to entertain, of letting them go out with the old, in with the new. The saying that I like to say, and then we keep going forward. So I'd like to see them go, me personally, but I also, if people want to say Lavia is too young, I mean, that doesn't make too much sense to me, because these are the same people that were twerking over Jude Bellingham. So, Lavia, in my opinion, is good enough. I think we need Fabinho to go to get Lavia in. And then if Henderson goes as well, then that means we have to go out and get a Manu Kone, who I think is slightly more realistic, and hopefully we'll re-enter those talks, because I'm a big fan of Manu Kone, and I don't think we're going to get to them. So it just depends. But anyway, in other news, I've saw links to Caicedo. I've also saw reports about re-entering talks with Kone, which is why I mentioned him. Realistically, no one concrete, realistically top-class source is really talking about these rumours. But is it possible? Or does it at least massively enhance the chances if we sell Fabinho and Jordan Henderson to bring in one of these players? I think that's realistic. And listen, like when you analyse the midfield situation currently, it's not... let's say Fabinho and Henderson are gone. You've got Curtis Jones, Stefan Bajcetic, Tyler Morton, which a lot of people forget about, but he might go back out on loan. You've then got Thiago, Szoboszlai and McAllister. So if you want to throw Trent in there, then you can throw Trent in there. But in the main, they're your options. I might be missing 1 or 2 names. We need reinforcements, because, even some of those guys that I've just met, Harvey Elliott, he's another. But some of those guys that I'm mentioning, about 3 or 4, still yet to be proven at the top level. So if we go out there and get signings who we believe are the right here right now, then that only enhances the chances of getting back into a title race, which, listen, players have said that that's what they want. If you think you're Virgil or you're Trent or you're Salah and you're thinking, we finished 5th last year, so let's try and get for 4th or 3rd. No, they want to win league titles, and I'd like to hope that Jurgen feels the same way, and I hope the club does. So if they know last season got us 5th, and therefore if we don't make many changes, that's a problem, then that means we need to go out there and make changes. But it turns out that our transfer window is heavily dependent on Henderson and Fabinho. So really the question that you guys have got to ask yourself is, would you prefer to stay with what we've had in hope that they just had a couple of bad seasons? Because 2 out of the last 3 seasons, we haven't been great. Now, I'd say it's the past 12 months, 18 months where we've seen players like Henderson and Fabinho really drop off in terms of performance. However, there has also been glimpses where I'm sure there's some Liverpool fans who say we need the leadership, we need this, and I've heard it over the past few days. And although I don't think it's a detriment if we lose Henderson, and I do think we need a fresh restart, I suppose for some people, if they don't see a bigger picture, or they're not confident in the market at the moment, and they're not confident in the players in the market, then it's tough. So let's have a look, and let's see what happens. But I do hope that we get those reinforcements that's necessary. Mentioning Levi Colwill as well, that's another player that I think is massively important to at least try and get over the line. If we don't even try and get that player over the line, then that'd be a disappointment, because the centre-backs are required, and it seems like we're going to make that adjustment to the system. And if we're going to make an adjustment to the system, then someone like Levi Colwill, who's good on the ball, good reading of the game, young, hungry, homegrown, so we don't have to worry about that. All these aspects are great, and listen, you have to fulfil the homegrown element as well, and it's a shame that we've put so much time. I've just heard a noise. Remember the rat that I had? I heard the littlest noise in my kitchen, and I just think it's a rat. That was a weird noise though, so what if it's another one? Anyway, Levi Colwill. You need somebody to come into the team, freshen up the legs a little bit, and just add that element of competition. I think people forget about how important it is to have depth, and the one time that we did have depth, where we had Origi, Minamino was our fifth and sixth choice, more like, and then of course, you'd have the midfield situation. When we had options, we competed for 4 trophies. So let's give Jurgen those same resources. Let's give him the same quality and quantity of players, because here's the way I perceive Fabinho and Henderson. I think that there's squad depth and then there's false depth, and I look at someone like Henderson and I think, okay, you haven't been playing great, Fabinho's been looking like a granddad, therefore you two kind of, even if you have a part to play, it's not going to be significant enough to win us a game, which is what you want from an impact sub. Harvey Elliott has more of a chance of changing a game than Jordan Henderson in terms of being an impact sub. If you think about someone like Stefan Bajcetic, I've seen him come off the bench and change the game plenty of times stylistically, whereas when Henderson comes on, it's safety, it's reserve, and okay, if you're winning a game, that's fine. But at the same time, if you tell Stefan Bajcetic just don't do any of the fancy stuff, he can do the side-to-side passes that Henderson does. But Bajcetic's game potential, or his potential of what he can become, is significantly more well-rounded and versatile, with so many more weapons than what Henderson is on his best day. And that's not diminishing Henderson, but let's analyse the attributes and the way both players play. Henderson's a lot more one-dimensional, a lot more safer, a lot more reserved. Bajcetic, over time especially, will be most certainly taking more risks with the long ball passes, a lot more precise with the long ball passes, because he's more technical. And that's why I think it's important to provide these young players opportunity, because I think they're more technical than the older players. I think if we got Lavia, he's more technical than Fabinho, and also he's young. And we've got Jurgen Klopp. If we didn't have Jurgen Klopp, I'm not as confident, but I know his development for players, the amount of players he's turned into world beaters, including Henderson. Henderson before Klopp, meaty. With Klopp, amazing. Now, he's just old, that's all it is. It's not even anything bad with him. It's just he can't keep up with the game the same. And again, he's not that game changer which is required. So what we need now in a transition of periods in terms of systems and, new players, we need those game winners, because it's not going to gel from everyone straight away. That's why I was happy with Szoboszlai. He's a game winner. It's why I'm happy Jota and Diaz are back, because now you've got Jota, Gakpo and Nunes all competing for one spot. And let's say I'm wrong and Nunes ends up doing really well. Well, that means he's doing better than Jota and Gakpo. Therefore, he must be doing quite well to be above those two. And I'm willing to accept a future where that's the case. And believe me, I'm more than willing to accept Nunes up front if he's delivering the goals. And the same goes. And the reason why I'm not saying sell Nunes or anything is because he's got that ceiling there to be able to at least climb up and help us in some way, whether it's off the bench, on the pitch, or he improves over time. Henderson, he's off that ceiling, he's bounced off it, and now he's coming back down. So I don't want people to misperceive me speaking about Henderson in a disrespectful manner. Not the case. All I'm simply saying is that eventually he needs to go. Fabinho will need to go eventually, and you're telling me we will get £40 million for Fabinho? I understand it's not our money, but if you care about this football club, then you'll analyse the financial side of the football club. You can't be unrealistic. You can't be doing these career mode thoughts and dreams where we get Kimmich and all these, because then you're paying wages, then you're paying agent fees, and then it goes way beyond a transfer fee. So Liverpool do it smartly. Rightly or wrongly, this is their approach, and it's kind of what they have to do with the limited resources, and that's why people have had problems with FSG, because of those limited resources. The point I'm leading to, if you don't take into account the club's FSG's financial targets and current financial status, then you're neglecting a huge part of it, and then you're always going to be disappointed. So what I'm analysing is, okay, I'm aware we've got less resources than other teams, but we've got enough resources to do this, and we've got 2 assets there that are willing to go to Saudi. We're waiting for an offer to be concrete from El Ettifaqi, and then we're also waiting for the 40 million supposed bid. I think it's from Al Ittihad. So in my opinion, get Fabinho out the door, because he's the one with the £40 million thing. If we don't get an offer for Henderson, and the club really don't want to let him go and they don't see the value in it, then fine. But I'd let him go anyway. I'm happy to free up 150k a week. Again, what it means if we let go of Henderson, it means we have to bring in a new midfielder. And I think that's significantly more beneficial than keeping Henderson for 2 more years. And it would be 2 more years. He's got 2 more years left on his contract. He's not getting better. He's only getting worse. And if we want to improve and we want the trajectory to go like this, then he needs to go. And I understand people say leadership, but if you discount Thiago, Gakpo, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Trent, who should be a future captain, Kanate, who seems like a leader at the back, you know, he's calm as you like. You know, all these players, if you dispute these guys as leaders, then what have we been doing for the past couple of years, you know what I mean? So please do let me know what you think. I think it's an interesting video to discuss these people, and, you know, players like Caicedo, Kone, Colwill. The only way we can enhance our chances to sign these players, realistic or unrealistic, just new faces and new bodies, which is necessary, is getting rid of some of these assets, which in any other year we would never get 40 mil for Fabinho. In any other year, we wouldn't even be able, no club would be interested in Henderson. There's a reason why nobody bids for him. It's because he's not that world class. So it's just one of those things that I think it's uncomfortable conversations, but needed conversations, and that's why you tune into James Redmond TV. Anyway, smash a like or a dislike if you disagree. Let me know in the comments down below why you disagree, and I love every single one of you, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.